meteorologist, Stephen Jones.
Well, happy Saturday and International Women's Day. Had a little bit of a dreary start earlier, but as we got rolling through the afternoon, more of those blue skies started popping out. Daytime heating during its peak got into those mid-50s a little bit, of course, with that cold front in the wake of it. Already cooling off pretty quickly. Take a look at the last 24 hours as far as those temperatures go. Last night, we got that daytime high around just past midnight. 1 a.m., 2 a.m. around 64 degrees. The rest of the day spent in the 50s, and like I said, just a little bit of that heating up to about 55 degrees or so. And as we go into the 6 p.m. hour, already seeing more of those 40s pushing into our northern counties. 48 here in town, 45 for both Robert Lee as well as Ballinger. 44, the cold spot up in Coleman versus the warm spot down in Ozona and Sonora at that 63-degree mark. So about 19 degrees of spread across the Concho Valley right now as that cold front works in more and more. And with the dew points, they're a little bit more uniform. Well, actually pretty dry there in Ozona. The rest of us, though, going to be in the 30s for those dew points. Relative humidity indices from the 70s down into the teens there in Ozona. And we're going to watch more of that dry air starting to work in as more of that system works off to the east. Of course, looking at that 24-hour temperature change across the state, and of course the spread across the state as well, about 50 degrees from Amarillo to Brownsville right now, from that 33-degree mark to 82 degrees here in town. Compared to yesterday, about 32 degrees colder. The similar stories there for El Paso, DFW, and then Amarillo. All of us feeling the effects of that cold front as it pushes more and more in. And like I said, with that moisture tracker, as the system continues off towards the east, we're going to watch more of this dry air pushing in from the northwest. By about Tuesday, we could see just a little bit of that resurgence of the greens into the Rio Grande Valley. But here in the Concho Valley, still sitting pretty dry as we get ready for some of those windier conditions by Wednesday, leading to those elevated fire weather conditions. Take a look at the upper level winds here. Here's right now. This one's going to push off towards the east. The next system on its way by that midweek time frame, going to be pretty windy across the Concho Valley. Winds getting up to 20-25 miles an hour, but the stronger one even going to work in by Friday. That's the one we're watching. Unfortunately, both of these looking pretty dry, not going to bring too much rain to the area or cloud cover, but the winds definitely going to be felt out of the west as these systems push through, and that's what's leading to that fire weather conditions, just with our ground being so dry and that drought across the Concho Valley right now. Current satellite across the area, really most of that atmospheric river pushing up into the Pacific Northwest, but across the state of Texas, seeing that snow pushing into Amarillo and even down towards Lubbock. That rain well off to the east for right now. Those severe thunderstorm warnings going off to the north of Houston. Just a couple of those showers wanting to push into some of the western Concho Valley, but I think more of that in terms of virga, not quite reaching the ground. And as we go into the futurecast, you could see more of that cloud cover going to try and push in tonight, but quickly pushing off to the east. Sunday looking like a beautiful day. Those temperatures warm back up into those mid-60s, and more of the same as we go into Monday with clear skies really across the entire Lone Star State. The 70s going to make their return before the 80s make their return there on Tuesday. So really just going to be on that warming trend going through these next 72 hours or so. So to recap, going into tonight, pretty chilly at around that 36-degree mark. Breezy out of the north, 10 to 20 miles an hour. That holds true into tomorrow. That nice north breeze as we warm up. About 66 degrees is what I'm calling. And of course, as we go into tonight, don't forget it's daylight saving time. So make sure to spring those clocks forward from about 2 to 3 a.m. or really just before you go to bed is probably going to be the best bet. And of course, those iPhones and definitely smartphones, they usually do it on their own, but those clocks on the wall, you want to remember those. Going into the 7-day forecast, you can see here's that quick warm up by Tuesday, pushing 87 degrees. Fire weather starts there on Wednesday as we see those breezy conditions out of the west. They really ramp up going into Friday, but those temperatures holding steady, fairly warm into those 80s and 70s, and overnight lows really settling out in the 50s. That's going to be all for your 7-day forecast, but stick around for more.